Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to math. Most of these 6 weeks, we're going to be covering mostly circles, okay? If you guys remember last class, or at least the previous 2 classes, we learned about parts of a circle and how to find the circumference, okay? So again, we're still dealing with circles today, so I'm going to go ahead and draw my circle. Start off over here on this side. Okay, so I've drawn a circle. Okay, in this circle, we're gonna cut it into pieces. Okay, I'm gonna cut it into. Okay, there's the center point. We're gonna label again. Remember, when lines touch other lines, okay, it creates a vertex. There's a vertex in the middle. Okay, there's a vertex on each one of these edges. Each one of those vertices we're gonna label. Okay, we're gonna label it T, U, Q, C, R, and S. Okay? So we have labeled our circle. Also, what's given to us in this circle, okay? It's one of those measurements, because what we have to do on the concept is we have to find the measurements. So it gives us one of those measurements. There's just another color here. The measurement that is given to us is 45 and 60, okay, degrees. Now that we have these measurements in there, our goal is to find the rest of the measurements, okay? It tells us that R, or I should say S, R, and Q, okay? That means that this arc here, okay, if you guys remember, the outer part is an arc, has a projectile measurement of 90 degrees. So that means that the angle on the inside is 90 degrees. Since the inside between SRQ is 90 degrees, we know that by law, if you guys remember back to angles, measurement or the line that passes through S, C, and Q creates a right angle. Okay, so if RQ is 45, then SR should also be 45. Okay, now that we have that there, we have that 45. Okay, we can actually solve another piece in here by noticing that this circle, if you really look in here somewhere, it is cut in half. Okay, that's a line that is a diameter. If you look at it, UR cuts our circle in half. That means that, you guys remember what is the measurement for a circle from the previous concept? 360, okay? So we know that the measurement of the whole circle is 360. So what happens when a diameter cuts the circle in half? Cuts the same number in half, right? It cuts 360 in half. So we're gonna cut it, or we can also say divide it by 2, because now there's 2 pieces. Does anybody know what 360 divided by 2 is? 180, right? So equals 180, okay? If you need a calculator, that's fine. Go ahead and get one, use it, okay? Now that we know that this top part, R, U, cut the circle in half, we know that R, S, T, and U is what is known as a semicircle, okay? So we know that from U all the way to R is known as a semicircle. Let me see here. Semicircle, okay? When, let's see, what color should I use? Purple. When you have something below, okay? This is back to angles. When you have something below 90 degrees, okay? It's called a minor arc, okay? For example, in this specific problem, if R, C, and Q makes 45 degrees. So if you guys remember 45 degrees or anything below 90, it's an acute angle, right? So in other words, it is a minor arc, okay? So we can say that arc QR is a minor arc. Anything above, okay, 90 degrees, okay, as long as not the whole circle completely, okay, but anything above 90 degrees, less than 360, it's what's known as a major arc. For example, we can say that if you went from U and went up to T, to S, to R, and to Q, okay? Not this piece here, but everything else around. It's more than 90, less than the whole circle because you didn't count U. It's called a major arc, okay? Even if you only went from U to T to S, that is already more than 90 degrees, okay? You might ask yourself, how do you know if there's something there? We can actually solve what's there by using the theorem of a semicircle. We know a semicircle equals 180 degrees. So we can say 60 plus 45, because remember, it's in that part of half. 60 plus 45 plus x, because we don't know what that is, x equals 180, because that's what a semicircle equals. Okay? We can combine terms. Let's use another color here so we can see it a little better. We can say 60 plus 45 is 105 plus x equals 180. If we're trying to solve for x, we have to move the 105, right? If it's positive, because there's nothing there, the opposite would be negative. So it cancels out. You do the same thing on the other side. We're left with x, because we bring it down. X equals, since 8 we have to borrow, because 0 minus 5 doesn't work out. 0 has to borrow from 8, so 8 becomes 7, and 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 7 minus 0 is 7. And 1 minus 1 is 0, right? So the answer is x equals 75. So that means that ST, this angle here between ST, is 75 degrees. Okay. Now that we know that, we can also say that we can actually solve all the circle. Okay, we can actually find QT, or QU in this case. This big angle here, which is, again, we're doing something similar to what we did to find ST, but now we're actually going to add everything together. Okay, we're actually going to solve 60 plus 75 plus 45 plus 45 plus x, because we don't know what this is, equals 360. Because remember, circle equals 360. So we can say 60 plus 75 plus 45 plus 45 of the other 45 we have, because remember we have 2, plus x equals 360. Since we have all these numbers, again, we can actually combine 60 and 75. Any suggestions? I'll tell you what. How many do we need here to get to 100? 25, right? So we can say 100 plus, if we combine the two 45s, we have 90, right? Plus x equals 360. I always like to make it easy. So we took off, if we made this 75 100, we're going to take off those 25s from somewhere, right? In this case, we're going to take them off of 60 to make it a lot easier. So we have 25 subtracted from 60. So we have 60 minus 25. Again, we borrow, which makes 5, makes it 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. So we have 35 left over, okay? Makes it a lot easier now because you can actually combine 90 and 100. So we have 35 plus 190 plus x equals 360. In order to not deal with that 35, we can actually add it to the 190, okay? If you're more comfortable since the beginning just adding all these numbers, it makes it easier for you, go ahead and do it. If you're not familiar with numbers that have 5s in there, that are not whole numbers, you can always make them full numbers. So we have 35 plus 90, which is 190 plus 35, this is the old-fashioned way. 0 plus 5 is 5, 9 plus 3, so we have 2 and then 1 over, which is 225. So we have 225 plus x equals 360. And then finally, we subtract, right? Because there's nothing in front of the 225, and we're trying to solve for x. 225 minus 225. We're left with x equals, if you don't know on top of your head, if you don't have a calculator, we can always do it the old-fashioned way. Again, we're going to borrow from the 6. We have 5. We have a 10 on the 0. So 10 minus 5 is 5. Now we have 5 minus 2, which is 3. And then 3 minus 2, which is 1. So x equals 135. Okay? So this angle here equals 135. Okay, now that we solved it, all you have to remember, if it's less than 90 degrees, it's a minor arc. If it's half a circle, it's a semicircle. Okay? If it's more than 90 degrees, okay, it's a major arc. Okay, anything over 90 degrees. All right, make sure you write everything down in your notes. All right, for your assignment for today, Should probably do it a little bigger. Just another color. All right, so I have my circle there. I have my center. I have line A, B, and C. Okay. I also have D, E, F, G, H. Okay. All right. Now that you have all those in there, I'm going to give you a few measurements. Okay. I'm going to give you 30, 90, and 40. Okay. All you have to do is solve the rest of them. Okay. Also, you're going to tell me what kind of arc. Okay. Or if it's a semicircle for the following ones. Measurement. For the first one is measurement. dA. What is it? Is it a minor arc, major arc, or a semicircle? Okay. Measurement. A, F, G. What kind is it? And then number 3, measurement. E, F. Okay. What kind are they? Is it a semicircle, major arc, or a minor arc? Okay. For each one of these, and then also solve the insides of the circle. Okay. That's your assignment for today. Make sure you submit your answers as soon as you're done watching the video, and I'll be waiting for your email.